Halló, já, það verðist vera svolítið lágt. Þetta er samt allt í lagi. Halló. Mhm. Um, audio. Nei. Ah. Heyrðu, góðan daginn. Ég ætla sem sagt að flytja fyrirlestur atburðarásir, sýn og contextual analysis. Og now I will switch to English. Excuse me. So the presentations today will be about 3 methods that you use in the project, the first group assignment. It's about visioning, scenarios, and this 5W and H, the contextual analysis. It's easier to say. And all these, you will use all these in project 1. Tomorrow there will be the first problem solving class, and you'll get 1% for attending and being involved in doing the assignment there. And that assignment will be a preparation for the group assignment 1. So we will actually be working with visioning a product, and maybe you could use that vision in your group assignment. I don't know. It depends. But at least you will learn how to use the method. So especially the visioning part is a preparation for the problem solving task tomorrow. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the background of the students. You did participate in this questionnaire. And I think this is very good for me to know a little bit about the people that I'm talking to. So I would like to share this information with you, and then we'll talk about user goals, and then these 3 ways of describing your ideas of software. Scenarios, it's called atburðarásir in Icelandic. Visioning, which is called sýn or vision. The noun is sýn in Icelandic, and then this contextual analysis, which is umhverfisgreining. And you have the reading material from chapter 11 about visioning. So first of all, there were 38 students that participated last week, and we have almost 1/4 of students from other countries than Iceland. So we have there a nice combination of people from abroad, 2 from Russia, 2 from Germany, and then 1 from Finland, 1 from Netherlands, 1 from New Zealand, coming far away, and then 1 from Poland. I also asked about how much you've studied until now, you know, where you're situated in the studies, and it is mostly half and half. So almost half of the students are on the 2nd year, and then half on the 3rd year. Yeah. I asked if you had been working in the software industry, and there were only 18% that had worked in the industry. Many developers, so there were programmers and developers, and then 1 software engineer. But more of you had been involving users while developing software. So there were more than half of you that said yes to that question. And these are the methods that people have been using. Many have been doing interviews and then 10 testing with users. Uh, Six mentioned meetings, and then three that they use questionnaires. One mentioned prototyping, and one that this person used video chats and podcasts. And here I'm counting all the answers. So maybe one person said, I've used both interviews, meetings, and prototyping or something. So I'm counting all that was mentioned. And you could mention more than one. So it seems like, interviewing and meeting users was quite often done, actually, and then testing also. So that is good. Um, and the answers to why you are interested in this course, this item there, including users, is important, got the highest number, but it is then second place generally. I think this is an interesting course, and then the third place is you want to practice for future job roles. And I'm actually sure that you will get this from the course, because you will. This is a very practical course. You do these group assignments, and they are really thought through that they could be of good use in the industry. And there will be people from the industry, and I'm also collaborating with them, defining the projects and what to do in the course. Then this was an interesting list of usable systems. This is everything that you said. So I didn't really group this. There were some that mentioned that Pokemon Go was usable. I haven't tried it myself. Yeah, yeah, right. There is actually somebody also that says it's unusable. So yeah, that was more. There were many people that mentioned my school, actually, and I actually agree to some extent with that. There are some tasks that are hard to use or hard to do in my school. Yeah, so there were two that say that it's unusable, Pokemon Go. So there are always, this is always the case. People don't maybe have the same experience. People are maybe focusing on different things. But what we are seeing here, if there is a trend, like, when we are asking about these things, and you say that many people mention the same thing, then you start to trust it better. Or you really think, okay, there's something wrong here, and then maybe you would do a user test or something to see really what is it, and is it like all the tasks you do, or is it one particular um, area in the web or something. Yeah, so I thought this was very interesting. And then I really like this question: why are we making software? And I liked your answers too. Many people said it's to have a better and simpler or simple life, you know, makes to make things easier, and then to make easier tasks. And I think all of these are like heading towards the same direction. It's about making something easier, if it's tasks, things, or like the whole life. And then there are some people that say it's for entertain. These people are probably thinking about games or something to do in the leisure time. And actually, I see a difference from this and then I think I did this 2 or 3 years ago, and then there were not as many that mentioned entertaining as now. Yeah, make a better world, make my jobs easier, and then yeah, two people mentioned because of the money. You know, you want to get some money out of making this software. So I really liked seeing this, and I think really the course will help you because we are really thinking about these things. We are thinking about making software that is helping users to find a way for the users to have a easy way of solving tasks. So we are always thinking about the people and we are helping them. So it was really nice to see that you are really thinking about the same goals. Okay, let's talk about user goals. I just put up this picture because I want to emphasize that there are many goals in life. You know, the company maybe has a goal of achieving money. The user has the goal of making something. They are solving some tasks or they are maybe having fun. Um, and of course, there is a sweet spot there where we can support the users, but also are, reaching the business goals. And I think actually, like Google says, if we only think about the users, then everything else will follow. I think if we focus on the user goals and maybe direct the business goals towards the user goals, like fulfilling the user goals, we will be in good business. But this isn't always the same. People are not always having like the same spot that they are heading to. So when we think about user goals, we should think about what the user is trying to accomplish. What do they actually care about? What makes them feel good in the end of the day? These could all be the goals of users. I in the description of personas, we have there as the last thing that we would like to define the user goals. So I'm supporting you here and telling you, okay, what should you be thinking about when defining the persona? You will have to define one persona per each user group that you find. And what we are saying here is that the goals have like various characters. They both have like a project focus, but also a wider focus. So it could be also goals that characterize the persona and their life experience in general. I think this picture maybe gives a good understanding about this. So we have some goals that are really focused on the tasks, you know, something that you want to do. You want to accomplish something. And if that is the case, it has to be functional. It has to work. You know, the software has to work as programmed, and you have to be able to do it. It has to be reliable. You know, it is doesn't include errors, and then usable, easy. And this could mean that you're able to do this, but also that you're able to do it fast. You don't get any problems. But then there are also more like experience goals. If it's pleasurable, if it's convenient, if it's meaningful. So we could have more like emotional goals and then task-oriented goals. And when they are explaining, you could look at this again. When they are explaining the user goals, when you define the persona, they include both. You know, both like project, this is task-oriented, and then wider set of goals. Do you have any questions here? No? Okay. You can stop me whenever you like to discuss or something. Okay, so if we look at the goals, here we are talking about when an end result should be received. Then the goal should actually describe what the user wants to do, but not how. So what is it really that the user wants to accomplish? And I have one example there. I would like to buy a DVD disc. It's not, I would like to buy a DVD disc. That's really old fashioned, but okay. This was some years ago, probably. But okay, we would like to buy something. And it's not about, I would like to go to this web page and click on this and to find this category and so on. That would be how. This is more like I would like to do this. And when I've done it, I'm finished. And this has a start and an end. So, you know, even though I took the example identifying yourself as a task, it's very rarely as a separate task. It's often that you have to identify yourself to be able to do something. Yeah. So that is, you could like think about, okay, I can sit down, I will do something, and then when I've done, I can go. And often, you know, just identifying yourself is not enough. You want to do something else. It's just a part of the process. But we can actually find situations where identifying is a separate task, like when you go to the gym and you have the system that is only made there for identifying you so you can go on in the gym. So it depends, but you can always think about when you're stating the goal, can the user just like either do this and then go? Then it's a whole task. But if he or she is you know, should do many other things, then that is probably a part of the goal too. So here we are talking about the difference between tasks, smaller tasks to be able to reach one big goal, and then a goal. So the tasks are more like to be able to do something, I can break it down into smaller activities. Like go to the website, pick a disk, pay with a card, insert information about the delivery. These could all be phases or tasks for the example there, the user goal. And then each task could also be broken down into actions. So a goal is actually a big thing, the whole thing, and then you can break it down into smaller tasks and each task to action. So when defining your user goals for the persona, you should think about that you are actually defining something like a big achievement. So there are examples. This is actually not from this book, but from another book about user goals. And then they say they are just taking this old example about people writing letters to each other. um, and then it could be handwritten, or it could be a postcard, or SMS or email, or whatever. And then there are, of course, different tasks and actions. If you're writing a letter by handwritten, you have to get the paper and pencil, and then find a place to write the message and decide what to write, and write the words. But we are talking about this because we need to be able to understand really the user goal. This is really a fundamental thing to be able to design good systems, and to be able to support people to have like what you wanted to do, make things easier tasks. This probably make the job easier, and so on. We have to understand what they really want to do. And this is from a book. I think this is it's probably from the book called Interaction Design by Priest et al. Here they are saying that, okay, and then the tasks could be in different sequence, even though the goal is the same. Yeah, so the first one gets the envelope and writes the address, and then writes the letter, but the other one writes the letter first. This is just yeah. I have to tell you that like 2 or 3 years ago, the theaters in Iceland, they designed their websites in similar ways, and they actually had only one approach, and it was this approach. So you could really see which shows were going on. And then if you think, okay, a man called Ove, that's interesting. I read the book. I would like to see the theater piece. Then you could see when is it shown, and you could pick a date and then the tickets. So both of them designed their website having this approach, that you first think about the piece, and then you have all the dates available you could probably think of. So you pick the date, you pick the tickets. And I was very irritated because sometimes maybe you say, okay, let's go to the theater next Friday. What is going on? And then you had to go into, it's play, and no, that starts in January. Is this going? No, they only have on Thursday and Saturday. Is this going on? So you had to go into all the things. But now, luckily, Borgarleikhúsið, the other theater, they have designed their website so you could do this. So you can actually pick a date, and then you will get all the shows that are running that date. So there you have really the different approach, the other approach. But now it's harder to have this approach, actually. At least they haven't started their year yet, so maybe that was the problem. But when I wanted to get an overview of the shows and check when they were starting, that was harder for me. So sometimes it's like people have one idea in mind, and they design their website according to that. But like a year ago, they had this approach, Borgarleikhúsið. So they have changed approaches now to be able to support the users that have a date available, but not determined what show to see. So this is actually what I'm saying here. The goals can be very different. Maybe you would like just to pick something, some show to go to next Friday, or you have a particular show that you want to go to. The actions and tasks, what do you think? Are they similar to for this in this website? This one? Okay. I could show it to you live. It's maybe easier to see. Oh. Oh, I thought it was running. Mm-hmm. So it's because there are no shows here. We could pick another date when they have started. Um, yeah, right. Mm. This one. Yeah, it's very big. You're right. It's probably not supporting many user goals. It's only saying we've started to sell like yeah, you can pick 4 shows and then you get the reduction. So it's like we've started to sell this. Okay. But here you can see these are the shows going on that Sunday. I really could recommend the Mamma Mia show. I've seen it twice. It's just amazing. So yeah, let's look at the other one. Lake, what's it? This is the National Theater. So yeah, here they have an overview of all the shows. And then you can, they don't have any musical running this year, I don't think. But then you can see something about it, like, okay. I thought I picked this show, but probably not. I don't know what to, I haven't read this. Hort frá Brunni. Yeah, okay, so here you can pick the dates. Both of them have actually redesigned their website, I think just this summer. But I think it's always nice to look at websites that are actually are supporting the same user goals. Both these theaters are really supporting the same user goals, and then see how different they are and different approaches they have. You can really learn from that. Okay, so in the first assignment, you will be analyzing user groups, and there you explain the main user goals. And then, yeah, you define the major user group goals for the user groups, and you write actually 4 scenarios for the major user goals. So you define the major user goals for the user groups and describe those in the persona description. And then you write these scenarios. 2 which are describing the situation before having the system, and then 2 describing the situation after getting a system that you want to make for them. And I showed you that user goals can then be, you can make like a map of or list of the user goals, and then map which of the user groups are actually having these goals. So here, this is just an example from the web from the Student Loan Fund. And we have 6 goals there, and then we have 6 user groups. And I'm then marking which of the user groups have these goals. Yeah. So you could like see which goals are important. This one, which all of them have, it's to identify themselves, to register. And then when we have really found the user goals, we could write a scenario for each of the goal or a use case. We often also write one test case per user goal. And we could also define a goal for the usability for each user goal. So these are really fundamental in all the design. Yeah, and as I said, you come, you achieve the goal, and then you leave. This is really the thing. And here I'm saying the login is not a user goal, but only in some special cases. User goals can also be described as a user story. And those of you that have taken hugbúnaðarfræði or software engineering, you know this. And then here, this a user, that is the name of the user group. As a normal user, I can. And then here's the goal, transfer money. And so that is then the achievement you have. Sorry? Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. So yeah, this is often the procedure that first you find the user groups. Then you start to think about, okay, for this user group, which goals does this user group have? And maybe then you see, okay, this group has this user goals, but the other groups have it too. But you should check all the user groups and check if they maybe have some special goals. So in the end, you have a list of user goals. And you can describe the user goals either by a user story or a use case, like you saw in Greining and Hönnun, or software requirements and design, and then or as a scenario, which I will tell you how it is. So these are 3 different ways of describing the user goals, just to state how they are. Okay. And the user goals are often the fundamental of the requirements of what functions should be in the system, because we have to have functions to support the goals. And then we have other requirements which are more like non-functional, which could be that usability is, it should be easy, it should be fast for the user shouldn't have any problem. Technical requirements could be that the user should be able to use it on an iPad and or on a tablet or something like that. And so these are more general requirements, but the other ones are more like the user has to be able to do this and this and this and this, a long list. So we are actually talking about the functional, we are thinking about the functional requirements that should fit the user goals. Okay. Yeah, isn't it time for a break now for 5 minutes? And then I'll talk about visioning and scenarios afterwards.